Hi everyone, my name is Ken. Welcome to This House. Today we are in St. Louis, Missouri, exploring a home that was built in 1895. This house had a pretty rough journey in its previous years, and the current owner has gone through every effort to rescue it. Let's take a look around outside, and then let's go explore. So walking inside of here, Brian, this is really awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about not only your inspiration for the space, but also just some brief history on it?
Hi, my name is Brian McKenna, and I am the host of STL Brick House.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. We call this place the STL Brick House, and it was built in 1895. Little history on the house: its original owners were Frank and Katie Leaps. They migrated over from Germany and made their way to St. Louis. They raised their 5 children in this home, and Frank was a local painter.
That's really awesome that you have that, because so many of these homes have lost their history over the years, and you've gone through exhaustive research just to find out what you can.
Absolutely, and even fun facts like in 1972, this place rented for $105 a month, which is quite a bargain now.
Absolutely, I'd say so.
This wall that we're standing in front of, my wife and I are thrifters, and we sourced all of the decor in this home from local estate sales and thrift shops because we wanted to pay homage to the community.
Well, I think that that's absolutely amazing that you've taken the time to go out into the community and really bring in these items that just scream St. Louis and really give you context for the place that you're in. So as we look around this hallway, of course, there's some modern updates, but up on the ceiling, I see what looks to be the original beadboard. I see the original windows looking into another room, which we'll explore that in a moment, I'm sure. But let's just kind of take a moment to see all this, and then what do you say we move on into the parlor?
Sounds great.
All right. Now, to get to the parlor, we're going to cross through these French doors, and let's pay attention to these beautiful crystal doorknobs that are still here. Now, let's go ahead and open these up and come on in here. So immediately my eyes are drawn to this beautiful fireplace with its cast iron inset. Could you tell us a little bit about its restoration process?
Absolutely. So we wanted to bring some local art into this home. And so we commissioned a very nice guy named Ray Harvey, a local muralist, to come in and paint our logo for STL Brick House. And in that process, he also touched up our fireplace here. He gave it a little patina and a very nice, kind of a unique design, and it's almost a throwback look, and it's very striking when you first walk in the room.
I love the choice of colors because, of course, this fireplace, as well as the millwork in this room, would have always have been intended to be painted, as was common in the area, especially with a working person's house like this. So it's just nice to see that you've used these modern colors to really breathe new life into it while still keeping the historic charm and the historic elements that were present here when you found it. So speaking of those things, can you tell us a little bit about what this looked like whenever you first acquired it?
Yeah, this house, when we first got it, it looked like something out of the 80s. It definitely needed a remodel, and so we wanted to give it a facelift without taking away any of its original features.
These types of historical elements really help to enhance the environment here and to make it feel more cohesive. So let's take a moment to see some of these details, and then we'll move along to the next room. And if we look closely at these windows, we can see that it still has its original hardware as well as its original latches above. And if we even look further in, it has the original chains that pull the windows up to the ceiling. Passing into the master bedroom, we are going to go through this doorway, but first, let's look down because there's this beautiful Art Deco vent that was most likely placed here in the 1920s. So let's continue on through here. So Brian, walking in here, one of the first things that really catches my eye is you still have the hardware for the transom window, and that's just magnificent because you could really allow for some great ventilation through here.
Absolutely, and it's still in working condition.
That's awesome. So as we look across this room, of course, these windows on our side, those look out over that front hallway that we entered into. And then directly in front of us is another mural from that same artist. And this was just recently done.
It was just maybe about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Ray Harvey, we gave him a couple ideas and we wanted something big on this wall, and what better than the arch in the riverfront. So I wanted to mention a couple of the items in here. With Air BnB, we always try to encourage people to stay longer, and so we made sure to have an old desk included with all of our vintage items. Like I mentioned, were sourced from the community. We tried to give it that vintage feel with our chandelier here as well. Some funky light bulbs, and of course, I think that this room is large, just like all the others in the house. They all have 12-foot vaulted ceilings, which really makes you feel like you're in a big space.
Absolutely. So let's take a moment to see some of the smaller details that you've incorporated into the space, and then let's check out that bathroom.
Perfect.
This bathroom is really amazing. If we look up, there's privacy glass off to the side, and this has those same daisy coils that we've been seeing in some of the other homes from this era in this area. Bringing our focus down, we can notice the painted chair rail that caps off the beadboard, and then a newer toilet and vanity. And off to the side is a very large walk-in shower. Passing now out of the master bedroom, we are going to come into the dining room, and Brian, one of the first things that just catches me is this absolute showstopper of a piece of furniture here. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Was this here or did you put this here?
This cabinet was here when we bought the place, and I will say it is installed in the wall. It's actually very unique. If we open this door here, I don't know if it's interesting or not. You can actually see some old electrics, some old hardware. They built it right into the wall, and we did nothing to it. This is how we found it.
Wow. So that's amazing. So you didn't strip any paint or restain it. This is its natural patina here.
We believe the floors are original. They have a lot of wear to them, but we like to call that character. So we decided not to do anything with them, and we think they really add to this house.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because if we all look down now, we can see all of the different growth patterns in the floor, and this would have been really common for a working class home, as they would have tried to source the materials as cheaply as possible before we had big box stores like Lowe's or Home Depot where we could just buy matching dye lots from. Now, bringing our focus back up, and we've seen this so far in every room, there's a picture rail that continues all the way around this room and the other rooms we've seen. So it's just really wonderful that even though you're not using them right now, that you've still left them in place.
Yes, and we have hopes to add to this home as time goes on, but yeah, I wanted to keep the picture real.
That's beautiful. And what do you say we check out the kitchen?
That sounds great.
Now, passing out of the dining room, we're going to come through what used to probably be the back door, and we can notice just how thick the millwork is, and this most likely contains between it 3 withes of brick, as was the fire code back when this house was constructed. Now, passing through here, we arrive in the new kitchen. And Brian, this is just really awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for the space?
Well, I have to say my wife is our interior designer, and but we tried to match to the rest of the house, give it that classic look. So in the kitchen here, we tried to keep as much as we could and update the rest. but it's got a lot of natural light. All of these windows were custom made on the property when it was built. We learned that when we were looking for blinds. They're all very custom.
I just love that you've kept all of the window trim, the original windows, and then how you've also paid homage to the bathroom beadboard that we saw by integrating the vertical tile that acts as the backsplash here. I just think, what a way to really modernize a space while still maintaining a cohesive flow. So this is just beautiful.
Thank you very much. And like I mentioned earlier, we think that this addition was put on in the early 1900s, possibly between like 1910 and 1930. And the receipt we have shows that Frank Leaps spent $450 to add this kitchen onto the house.
Brian, thank you so much for opening up the doors to this beautiful house for us. Could you tell our audience how they could book a stay here?
Absolutely. You can go to stlbrickhouse.com. You can also find us on Facebook, STL Brickhouse, and we really appreciate you coming by and checking out the place.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you everybody for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this tour. If you would like to book a stay here, please find the link down in the video description. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time on This House.